Tyler, I wanted to ask you about clearly AVOD is maturing. You guys are in a very major leadership position. There are other big players, a lot of excitement. When you deal with the buy side, with marketers, what is it that they want out of AVOD, and what is it that you're providing them, and kind of what needs to be done in terms of measurement or accountability? What kind of questions are you getting, and how are you solving them?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to attack it. Historically, we've been kind of held to this Nielsen standard, but as marketers are leaning into different ways and just opening the playbook of what CTV has to offer. Currently, I head up the advanced TV team at Tubi, and we are able to go in and be internal and external consultants with these brands on how they want to measure. Do they want to measure foot traffic, reach and frequency on top of what their linear buys, anything from sales lift, brand lift, all these things that we're able to measure now with CTV on TVs that historically linear hasn't been able to do. So we've been going into these marketers and really working with them to show them that their dollars are working for them when they're advertising on this new medium called CTV.
So, what's sort of some of the different flavors or ROIs that you're kind of hearing?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because it's going to be different for each person. Do they want to measure sales lift within a store, like SKU level data? Do they want to just buy extra eyeballs from their linear buys? Do they want to make sure that people are seeing their ad and going to their store or using their delivery service or buying something? So there's really a solution for everybody when it comes to proving ROI and spend. And so we are leaning in very heavily on that. As Tubi grows, and to get bigger dollars, we need to prove that those dollars are working. And that's what we're doing on the advanced TV side at Tubi.
So, Tyler, let me ask you a little bit about the buy side, the demand from the buy side, how you deal with sales. You have so much inventory; it's incredible. How much of that is being sold direct? How much is it being sold with your publishing partners? And how does programmatic, how does programmatic working with DSPs? Give us kind of an overview of the buy side and how you guys are managing that.
Yeah, so historically, Tubi has been a programmatic first publisher. As we were growing up, we had a very small sales team, but as we've grown as a company, we've flipped the script on that. And this year was the first upfront we did with our now parent company, Fox. And so we're switching from the almost totally programmatic model to the upfront model and scatter model, as well as being able to tap into programmatic. Tubi was actually a ad platform first called AdRise, and rose from those ashes. So we do have the programmatic chops and pipes to work directly with DSPs, as well as other SSPs in order to keep up with growth, because that's been the biggest challenge for us. When you talk about 100% growth year over year, leaning in on programmatic or direct sales, you can't really plan for that. So we were able to lean on direct or programmatic, but now that we are growing and have the scale to go in, direct sales is taking over and moving into the upfront and really transitioning the business and how we work with them, and really owning the conversation on how we work with brands and how we prove ourselves with brands and agencies.
So tell us about how you work specifically with DSPs and what you look for in a DSP.
Yeah, I mean, what we look for in DSPs is really just ease of use and scale. I mean, we're looking to keep up with scale. We're looking to be closer to the buyers, and we really want to tailor the buy to whatever the buyer prefers. So if they want to use a certain DSP, if they want to use Xandr, we can go in and have that conversation with them and how to best utilize that buy. Tubi is 100% brand safe, but we have a lot of content. So we have the largest library. So we can tailor audiences to them. So it is having that conversation and enabling that through programmatic, where programmatic historically has been cookie based or ID based and database. We can do a little bit of both there.
And Tyler, news is a huge category. You've started to stream, some news channels. Tell us how that's going. and also how that's different in terms of the sales scenario.
Yeah, it's definitely in this climate a bit of a different sell here, but Tubi has this motto of super serving the underserved, and news is just one piece of that. So we have Tubi Kids, we have Tubi in Espanol, now we have Tubi News. So it's just adding to the repertoire of having people come to Tubi on a more regular basis and how they interact and consume content. So we have the largest library. Now we're tailoring the site to different demographics, people like me with families and people that may speak a different language. We've entered into the international market. So I think it all ties into that super serving the underserved motto that we have at Tubi, and news is just another way to add to that.
And Tyler, finally, it's been a wild ride for you at Tubi for 5 years, and building this thing up with Farhad and the crew, and going through the acquisition with Fox, and now sort of exploding. Some thoughts about this year, innovation, consumer choice, the needs of advertisers. Must be a lot to digest. But what are some thoughts that you have? Some learnings you can share?
Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way since 2016 when they would send us to the back of the agency and we'd be fighting over a $50,000 budget in some room called emerging markets. So we've come such a long way from where we came 5 years ago. But I think there's one thing is keeping our focus in this very crowded market. Tubi has always been very focused on content and getting the biggest content library, and also being able to predict what people want to watch out of that content library. And that's really done us well over the time when we've had people come and go. We've had Quibi come, we've had Go90, we've had every streaming service try to get into this market, and Tubi continues to grow here. From a marketer perspective, we're just here to make sure that everybody feels comfortable putting in large budgets into this new medium to reach users. We always know that TV is the most powerful medium that you can have in order to reach people from a marketer's perspective, and it's enables storytelling. So now we're proving out that there is it is still TV, but it's just bought digitally. So we're proving out this other medium is just as strong as what they're comfortable with when they talk about linear buying across what they've been doing the past 50, 60 years. So the products we're putting out there, trying to make sure that we're up to date on currencies and identity, and doing things that make sure that all the pipes are aligned to really make people feel comfortable buying Tubi.